What's up, guys? Welcome to your 50-second Android tutorial for the new Boston. What we're going to do in this tutorial is basically get those list items doing something for the most part. In the previous tutorial we set up our inflator, got our menu displaying on the screen when we press the menu button. Now we're actually going to let those list items do something. Basically, you kind of like set up the on-click listener, but we're going to use a different method. So I'm just going to minimize again this on create options menu here. And we're going to import or use another menu or another method from the activity class. So again, right click source, override implement methods, and scroll down to one, or again it's not in the list activity, it's under just activity here, and it's called on options item selected. So just look for that on options item selected. It takes a menu item within its class or within its parameters. Hit OK. And it kind of sets it up for us as well. Again, we're just going to kind of gut it out for the most part. We aren't going to worry about sending it to the superclass. We're just going to delete this whole line of code right here and delete that. Now what we need to do is we need to kind of reference this item that's being passed in. Again, once one of these items are clicked within our on options menu, it's going to call this method for the most part. So what we want to do is check the case ID of which menu is selected. That's why we set up those IDs in the few tutorials ago. So we're going to set up a switch in case, and we're just going to say item, which is being passed in, and we're going to say dot get ID, just like we've used plenty times in the past. Oh, actually it's not get ID, it's going to be get item ID. Sorry about that. And that's going to give us the ID of an item. So there we go. We set up our switch in case, set up a new pair of brackets, and then do our cases. r.id. About us was one of them, and then we're going to say break and case r.id. What was the other one? Preferences. Whoops. And then we're going to break as well. And now why it's giving us an error and why it gave us an error in the last tutorial, basically it's a boolean. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I always say stuff wrong because I read in books and I never know if I'm pronouncing stuff right. So it's boolean, I believe, and basically that's going to be a true or false type scenario, and we aren't returning any data. We aren't saying, hey, it's true or false. So what we need to do is return something. So we're going to go outside of our switch in case here, and we're going to say return false. Just return something. We're just going to say, hey, it's false. Doesn't really matter if it wasn't within our switch in case. So basically, if it is neither of those things, it's just going to return false, give no input back. And that's basically how we set up basically our items, and then we can do something like, well, I don't know if I want to do anything more in this tutorial. It's a pretty quick tutorial for the most part, but again, nothing too new. Just remember, we set up a basically on create options menu, and then once that menu inflates, that's what we've done in the past tutorial, gives us two items which we set up in our items resource folder, or our menu resource folder. We set up two items within there, and then we're just getting the ID of those items, which is being passed in when we get a click, because those are called menu item, or it's from the menu item class. It's going to give us that item, some information about the item. Then we're just going to pull some information from that item within our switch in case. We're just going to get the item ID, and then if it's the case of about us or the case of preferences, we do again whatever is within here. So it's a pretty quick tutorial, nothing too new for the most part besides just working with items within a menu. So hopefully you guys kind of relax. You're like, okay, we didn't do anything too new for the most part. You learned about a new method, and that's about it. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Have a good one.